We're back. It's been a while. Sorry I haven't been able to do one of these breakdowns for a hot minute. Our schedule has been tough in regards to not being able to do a lot of desk work. And these breakdowns are just kind of like the free time that I have, aside from like my remote clients and so on and so forth, that you kind of just don't really care to listen to. So let's start this. 8-7 start versus Quebec. So this is the same team that I faced in my first start with this new team that I'm on, New York Boulder. So start off the game. This is brutal. Let's just kind of preface this entire outing by saying this is a brutal outing. As you can see, like those first 3 pitches, nowhere close to the zone. Literally short hopped. I forget the second one. Third, almost hit him. If you guys are vlog watchers, you'll find out in vlog episode 14, that's to come in a couple weeks, why I believe that this outing went so bad. And I'll give you some context to it is start days are great in terms of having a lot of time before you have to go to the field. Start days at home. And with what I do and, running a company and having a brand, like I sometimes look at those opportunities before a start to get a ton of like desk work done. And let's just be honest, like this isn't necessarily like an excuse. I think this is just factual for me. And this is more of an encouragement for you guys to prepare accordingly for your outings, right? So for me, I sat too much. I didn't move around throughout the day. And then, I got a lot done, but I suffered from just not feeling my best, especially it was a hot and humid day. And I wanted to just get that out of the way because, you can prepare throughout the entire week extremely good. And then as soon as it comes to the day to perform, that's when, it's extremely crucial to be a little bit smarter than what I was, because all the other days of hard work and preparation kind of go to waste if you don't feel good on the actual day that you need to perform. So 3-0, finally throw a strike, starting to get feeling here a little bit, throw another strike, 3-2, end up going to the cutter here. I don't like that camera angle, but this is another one of those things in terms of like just unfortunate circumstances, right? Like start 3-0, you come back, you do the job, and you get a ground ball, and unfortunately it goes for a hit. Exit velo of like 60 miles an hour, and that's just the game, right? I tried to be an athlete there, and I just couldn't get to it. Mom did ship the stirrups, though, so there's that. Ooh, let's check this out. All right, I don't know if I should do too much context on this particular thing here, but as I mentioned in the beginning, we face this team, and I kind of know right off the bat like which guys are going to be their base stealers, and this is something that I look at before, if I have the luxury of day 4, right? So day 5 start day. If I have the luxury of day 4 if the team is facing the same team that I'll face, I'll watch the base runners and I'll watch like their tendencies. Like, do they get happy feet when they're going to steal? Do they wiggle their fingers when they're going to steal? Things like that. Do they take a big secondary as soon as I come up into the set position after I get my sign? There's little things that you can look for within your base runners. If you're a starting pitcher, if you're a reliever, like they give you a lot of information from day to day, and you play the team that you pitch against a lot. So that's something that you can take into consideration. So with this particular thing here, or this particular runner here, I noticed that, he's going to be a guy that's going to be super aggressive early in the count. And the last time I believe that I faced them, he stole on me like first move. So the reason why I said I don't know if I wanted to talk about this publicly, but we'll go ahead and do it. Little balk move here, just a quick shift of the front foot, right? If he's keying in on that the front foot, if he sees that, he's going to start his move, right? So that's what we get here. Let's go ahead and slow this down so you can see it right there. Quick shift of that front foot, front leg, and we actually get his momentum going there. Don't say that I told you to do that, but it's something that you can do, especially if the umpire is far away. I guess there's an umpire there, but what are you going to do? Do it quick. Don't Be smart. So I believe that if we, he doesn't have a super far lead, but if we make a decent throw, right around this area, it was a pretty good throw, but if we throw it right there, I believe we can get him. And as you see, pretty dang good call. But maybe if we go to replay there, he's off the bag. We got contact. He's out. We don't have replay. No, we don't. We don't have replay. But that'd be dope. So 1 out, facing 3-hole hitter. He ends up going, slips, whatever. 2-0. Thought I should have got that call. Yakkertech had that call. Yakkertech had that call as well. So now we're 3-0. Got to do another job, come all the way back here. You're going to see this similarity this whole entire outing with just working behind in counts. He's going 3-2. We get a pop-up and should be an out. So we should have 2 outs, guy on first, okay, in the first inning. And first inning as a starter, big shutdown inning. That's where I get frustrated here looking back at an outing like this, because this just wasn't a competitive, holding of the runner. And again, I said this a little bit ago, early in counts, identify when those guys like to go, especially with 2 outs, get in scoring position, give him an opportunity to drive him home. And he's going right on first move, as you see. There you go. And he has the base easily stolen. And, I don't even give my catcher an opportunity to throw him out. And he's super fast, right? So we're 0-1. Now we're 0-2. Big donkey at the dish. And I just threw an 0-2 fastball right down the middle. But we do a pretty good job here getting ahead. Now, this is another thing I wanted to talk about in regards to holding the runners. Super important to hold them at second base as well. This is what you can call holding it at second. You can go to the midline here. So if you're a righty, you're going to be looking at third. Lefty, you're going to be looking at first. You can go here, and then you can go back here. And so you don't have to constantly keep your head like going on a swivel to the front, to the back. You got to get comfortable with something like this, because I know a lot of pitchers, they want to look at their target before they actually deliver. So what base runners will do, as soon as you look there and he'll time up and he'll sequence your looks, he'll just go. And then he's got an easy base stolen. So try to do a good job. And that's exactly what I did in terms of looking at home plate, and he kind of just timed me up, got a good guess there in terms of when I was going to go. So you can see this with my head positioning here. So looking there at third, and now we look completely at home, and he's just going to break. And, you guess right, you get rewarded. Now, in pertaining to the actual pitch, this is a 0-2 slider after, I think, 3 straight heaters. And just, I know the camera angle kind of poopy, but just this is a great take, right? So you can see this ball literally right there. Hitters usually make the decision right about here on if they're going to swing or not. And the catcher's mitt is still kind of center cut, right? And now watch this take. Just, oh, no, I'm good. Boom. That's impressive. And I don't know, it'd be a cool conversation to have with him. Hey, did you take that because you just saw him stealing it and you just forgot it was 0-2? That's crazy. But that's another whole message, kind of underlying thing about this entire outing too, is the put away stuff is not there. They did a good job of laying off that. So then we get 1-2, and I go, okay, well, he didn't want anything to do with that 0-2 slider. Maybe it's one of those particular situations in which the hitter just kind of says, oh, I kind of just knew I couldn't hit it, so I laid off. And so I do over articulate, and I think a lot, and that hinders my performance a lot of times, and I know that. But in that particular situation at 1-2, just having thrown that 0-2 slider, in which I just think he kind of just laid off because maybe he thought he couldn't hit it. So then the 1-2 slider, I'm like, all right, well, I'll throw this one at him and have it break in for a strike. Instead, he does a great job with his approach here, and just absolutely demolishes the ball up the middle. So we went from having an ability to get out of the first inning, even though, the body wasn't there and timing was off, and I clearly didn't have command of the strike zone, had an ability to get out of it unscathed, guy on first, 2 outs, end up getting 2 stolen bases. And then next thing you know, it's 1-0. So here's another particular situation that it's going to be literally the whole freaking message of this outing. It sucks that I have to watch this and break it down. But a 1-2 count, in my opinion, throw a really good slider here. You can see again, that glove is still kind of center cut. The ball's right there. And I faced these guys 6 days ago, and maybe they just have an idea of what I'm trying to do, but that's a really, really good take. That's a really good take. I hate giving credit to hitters, but that's a really good take. 1-2. So now we're 2-2, 2 outs, and throw a competitive fastball down in the zone. You get a ground ball. See, that's my thing though. Like a lot of times, I do a lot of harm to myself because I get in this mindset of like all this sequencing and tunneling and all this information that I have accumulated in terms of getting hitters out. And in reality, there is a very simplified equation to just making competitive pitches, down, up in the zone, and trusting that. Not trying to, I try to fool guys a lot. I understand that, but to me, that's fun. Sometimes you can just compete, make a competitive pitch, and go. My boy Gift here, good 0-0 cutter. Then we try to go 0-0 or 0-1 slider. Got a little bail there. I don't know. Where's that on Yacker Tech? It's a good sequence so far. Oh, no, this is the out, actually. That was a good sequence. You can tell that I kind of start getting a little bit more comfortable with my delivery. Timing is everything for me. And when I feel like I'm off, it's tough. But you can see here in this second inning, I have a pretty good understanding of how to sequence. That ball was crushed. That was a fastball, I think, after a cutter. 0-0 slider, 1-0 cutter, stir up swag. Yeah, I'm showing a lot of body language too, and I'm very emotional. And I know you can just tell from like my body language that I don't really have a feel for some of the things that I'm trying to do. Not missing bats, not putting away guys. Even the put away counts, they're taking them. So if you've been watching my YouTube channel, and the playlist on, when I throw my bullpens, that's been like a main emphasis these last couple of weeks is like, all right, let's develop this sense of put away pitch. Like you got to have it, right? So you can see here that we just put up 5 runs. We had like a 45-minute inning. And so my job especially is to come out and fricking put up zeros, right? Shut down innings for a starter, extremely crucial. So this is where things kind of just get weird. All right, so first 2 pitches of the inning, couldn't ask for better pitches. Okay, so the 0-0, again, coming out, wanting to shut down inning, attack the zone. The 0-0, we throw a competitive pitch on the inner half. He's trying to bunt, fouls it away. And now we're 0-1. Now the 0-1 pitch, we're going cutter. That's exactly where I want that pitch. That first pitch, we tried to go like fastball down and away. It wasn't there. It actually ended up right here where he tried to bunt it. So then we throw that cutter that starts kind of right here and ends up going this way. So tunneling, sequencing, all this stuff so far in this at-bat, great. I'm checking a lot of boxes here. So we're 0-2. I finally got a freaking swing and a miss. Haven't gotten, I don't think, one of these. We try to go fastball elevated, and we do. And we do, man. And we get it. Right. So that's where the target is. Now, this is my thing, and I'll talk to G about this, as well, or we already had this conversation, but like, this is where his target and where he wants this fastball to end up in this 0-2 count. That's, if I hit it there, that's a strike, right? If I throw this ball exactly where his target is, that's a strike. So for me is I tell my catchers, like, put your glove in an area in which I hit that spot, especially 0-2, and it's not a strike, right? But it's competitive in terms of how we sequence that. So belt's a strike. I want this tier right here. But great job of hitting, and 0-2 hit. Baseball, man. These circumstances here in this game are just like so frustrating. But 0-0, 0-1, guy on first. Again, double play ball. You can see the stuff is getting better. Like these pitches are getting better. 0-2 slider, fouls it off. Fastball elevated. That's kind of where I wanted that last one. See, we can get engagement on this, man. Like hitters 0-2, they don't want to strike out, and they don't want to strike out looking. And I think more oftentimes than not, especially with we won't get into my data analytics or anything, but I think that's a huge takeaway from this game is things were, you look at like where the pitches that they were taking, aside from that first inning we talked about, where the pitches are taking our balls out of the hand, and then the pitches that they're hitting are strikes out of the hand and not finishing as balls. So that's a uncompetitive 0-2, but who cares? That's a more competitive. So you can see by the hitter's kind of reaction that he's engaging in that pitch. And if I would have thrown that 0-2, then we could have worked around that a little bit better, in my opinion. Now 2-2 action count. What just happened? Foul ball. All right. They make me work, man. 2-2 action count. We throw the cutter, get the ground ball. We want a ground ball, obviously, in the double play situation. Ray makes a good play. Now we got a guy on second, one out. Change up, uncompetitive, gets away. Now we got a guy on third, less than 2 outs, so they're trying to sack fly it. So then my sequencing is accordingly to that. 1-0 cutter, 1-1 slider. That you can see I'm frustrated. I'm very emotional today in this outing. I don't like it. But we get a strikeout there. So that's good. I think the way this sequenced actually benefited me, right? Because even the one that I missed and I got pissed about, that slider down in here, it still set up that 2-2 fastball elevated in that he didn't like. And then this 2-1 fastball down. I get stuck in this mindset a lot too, with knowing that I have a high vertical fastball that I throw everything up in the zone. And that's not to say that I can't use this tier right here, right? We talked about the last breakdown, like the 3 tiers, right? And I think as I proceed and get deeper into the season, like this is a tier that I want to open up more, because I think if we can do this and this, that obviously makes it extremely hard. And we can work, cutter sliders off that, curveballs off this, changeups off this one. Like it opens up a lot of windows of opportunity. And another thing is I hadn't doubled up a whole lot, and I doubled up with the fastball. I think that was the first time this outing, 50-something pitches in maybe, that I doubled up with the fastball. So there's another good take. Here's the thing. I faced these guys the first outing, so they're fresh. They just saw me. Maybe they watched that first breakdown. Who knows? But guys in scoring position, right? We talked about this the first breakdown. Guys in scoring position, hitters tend to get over-aggressive, and you can use that against them. So with that in mind, I throw this first pitch kind of this 0-0 slider as almost like a 0-2 slider. And he does a great job. He holds off, and now we're 1-0. And we got to come to him with the elevated heater, and he freaking just tattoos it. Really good job. I mean, sometimes you tip your hat. That's kind of exactly where I would want an elevated heater, 1-0 at the belt. Maybe he's a high ball hitter. Who knows? If I would have started the 0-0 slider in this kind of area here, it would be obviously better. But we started it middle, and it dropped here. That's kind of being really, really meticulous with it, though. Sometimes hitters beat you, and that's something that you got to live with, and you got to be better with. Identify the hitters that in the lineup. This is another kind of good talking point. Identify the hitters in lineups that you know that they're a threat, and you don't want to allow them to beat you. Guy on third, 2 outs. We don't necessarily, and this isn't to disrespect the next guy coming up, because he ends up hitting a freaking 700-foot tater off me. But it's something that, again, identify the guys that you don't want to beat you. 3-4, 2-3-4, maybe those guys, force them to engage, force them to swing at your pitch. We have 2 bases open. And obviously, you want that shutdown inning, you want to fill up the strike zone, and that's a conversation for a different day. But I think talking out or thinking out loud to myself, that's something that I can do a better job of with that 1-0 fastball. What are you going to do? And I think I can get that call. I don't. Now we're 1-0, kind of changes the dynamic of the at-bat. That's another terrible holding job on my part. This is where things kind of start breaking down for me, to be completely honest with you guys and be vulnerable. I'm frustrated because this entire outing thus far, the first inning and now this inning, I put myself in situations to get out of it unscathed. Like I did enough, right? I did enough to get out of this outing and or to get out of these innings. And now you can see here, I did enough to get out of these innings without letting up a run. And I just didn't have that final freaking piece to that final guy and shut the inning down, right? And that's frustrating for a pitcher. And then you get frustrated and you get a little emotional, you get in your head a little bit, and then next thing you know, you're 3-0, you're behind in counts, and now you got to throw a cookie to homeboy here, who we saw in the first at bat, put together a great at bat, and holy tattoo smokes, geesh. That's not where you want it, but again, credit him for swinging 3-0. Good swing. He put together good swings all night, man. You saw in the first inning. And this ball's just freaking crushed. You can go ahead and watch that one, dude. I'm all for that. That actually went to another planet. And anything hit that hard should have a stewardess on it. Let's watch it again, yeah. All right, 2 outs. And now you can see 4-5. So we went from having the ability to have that shutdown inning that we talked about, and now we don't. That's a really good competitive 0-2 curveball, huh? And another thing, you know, I think I already talked about this actually. They put together good at bats. You know, they lay off the pitches that are out of the zone pretty well, pretty competitive pitches in my opinion. And they do damage to the pitches that are in the zone like that. You know, I'm backdooring a cutter there to a lefty on 3-2. Obviously it's elevated, and you know, if it's not, it's a different story, but credit the hitter sometimes. I hate to say it, but credit the hitter sometimes. I think me getting emotional sucked. This freaking at bat, my boy, Gift and Gope, one of my favorite players, honestly. Nicest dudes I think I've ever played with. Let's show this whole at bat, because you can already tell in this outing I'm grinding my face off, right? Stuff's clearly not there, whatever. Circumstances suck. This game's frustrating, blah, blah, blah. Cool. So with all that being said, now Gift comes up and he's like, yeah, let me put together a 12 pitch AB against you there, bud. You know, you're not grinding hard enough. And these pitches, you know, these sequencing, like this is a really good sequence. It's a really good overall just baseball at bat. And as a fan, I really enjoy moments like this. Just after the fact, because in the moment I hated every second of this, because obviously I'm grinding already and I want to get out of this inning as quick as possible because I want to keep going in this outing. But you have at bats like this and it's like, well, your day's done, dude. Tuck your shirt in. But end up going 2-2, probably throw the best cutter of the day. And check him out. He's like, yeah, that's my guy. That's fun. Baseball's fun, man. Baseball's fun. It's frustrating. You know, it's wow. Biggest takeaways for me are you know, get out of your freaking egotistic, like prideful head, you know, and just compete. You're not going to have your best stuff. Obviously it's cliche, but you know, you can still compete within each pitch. I think I got so fixated on like specific sequences and tunnels and having faced that team just already like 6 days before this outing and trying to like do more essentially, right? There's that human characteristic that we have when we try to do more because we think more from the mindset standpoint is going to promote better performance. When in reality, it's like that actually takes away your ability to perform free and easy and loose and excel. You know, we try to over amplify the thought and it restricts me, let's say, from a physical standpoint. And I know this, and I'm, you know, 11 years in professionally, and I'm still like learning this. It's just learning it, obtaining that information, and then applying it, right? Like it's the application side that I struggle with. But yeah, we end up going freaking 3 innings, 4 runs. And as I mentioned earlier, like I put myself in positions in each inning that I gave up runs to get out of it. And I just didn't. I couldn't keep my foot on the freaking gas pedal and finish the inning. You know, that's when things are extremely frustrating. But everything's growth. We learn, we work. I'd encourage you guys watching this to check out the videos of my bullpens. This outing was 8-7. So check out my starting pitching routines playlist. It's on my YouTube homepage. And look at my bullpens from 8-7 on. And the day that I'm doing this breakdown is 8-23. So you can look at my bullpens and how I'm working bullpens within this time frame. And that's like the big thing, like attack early, trust the stuff, trust the don't give hitters too much credit, even though I said that a lot within this video, that you got to give them credit sometimes because they put together good ABs, they see the ball well. But that's like big emphases for me going forward is, attack early, ball, strike, ball, have an out pitch, keep the foot on the gas pedal. And as I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, not to end this or conclude this on an excuse, but like I just didn't do a good job from a preparation standpoint going into this outing. I was upset at that. At the end of this whole entire day, I sat back and I was like, I need to do a better job. Like, don't sit down. I sat down for like 6 hours straight. All right, guys. We'll do the next. I've already had 2 starts since this date, so we'll try to find more time to do these breakdowns, but hope you could take something from that. And as always, God bless, much love. Until next time, your boy's out. See ya.